Using this VWAP and learning how to read the 15-minute is going to save you so much money and so many losses that you're going to never want to fight it again once you find out how easy it honestly could be. Now, I took a trade on Tuesday following the bank holiday that broke this rule. So now today we wake up, we get back on track, and we follow the rules and we get the win. So now let's first take a look at, let's go with today's trade. So today's trade is all about using that 15-minute in my favor. Not overcomplicating it though, just looking at a couple of VWAPs and where the trend ultimately probably wants to go. So notice how the open here comes in pretty bearish, right? We get 4 minutes of pop, but then sellers quickly take it right back below this New York VWAP. And you're not getting any higher highs. From that pop higher, it's just lower highs, lower lows. We even get a break outside open range low. Now a small thing on this is the other VWAP underneath us. You're trading to that previous day's New York. It pulls back, tries to break lower again, can't do it. That I actually want to be looking for longs. I'm not actually bearish. Although it's been bearish for the first hour, right? It's 10:25 here. The trend isn't actually bearish. So I don't know if I want to believe the shorts and follow the shorts all day. So we wait for the buyers to try to step in though, right? I can't just be buying it at the low. I wish I could. I don't know how to. To see a little bit of bullish strength, the close above New York VWAP telling me buyers are in fact in, and we take a stop loss to the low and we ride it to the high, right? This isn't quite mid-range, but you can see the idea of I'm trading in mid-range, stop loss at the bottom of the range, let's go trade back to the top of it. Now, the most important thing on the left side here is, like I'm saying, the higher time frame VWAPs as well as structure, which we'll take a look at. But just VWAP-wise, you can see how well we held that previous day's New York. You can see it here on the 1 minute as well. So unless we could have broken through that and gotten lower, then I'd be looking for shorts down here because sellers, in fact, took control. They're holding that control. Yeah, maybe we are going lower. But it's too early to tell just because we've moved down a little bit for an hour. So we wait for more information to say, yeah, can sellers take it? No, they can't. Okay, cool. Then I want to find longs because look at that higher time frame trend. But what did I do on Monday? I ignored it, or I saw it. I just didn't wait enough of same idea, just inversely of the first hour is bullish. But are we actually bullish on the day? Well, not really, because we're just pulling back to that overnight VWAP. In a bearish trend, pullback, more bearish trend is likely to come back in. So the same thing that we just did on our long here, bearish move is just the pullback in a bullish trend, and then more bullish trend continues. So thankfully we didn't make the same mistake twice in the same week, because if you just solely look at this right side, the 1 minute, right, definitely looks bullish. All above New York, new high a day, pullback, break of high day, if you will. Let's go higher. You cannot hate it. It's out of futures 2.0. It makes sense. It's riding the trend. But keyword being trend, it's not actually riding the trend. It's watching the 1 minute, but the higher time frame trend is telling us this is likely where we want to form that next lower high and move back down. And that really just comes from reading the higher time frame. Now, this is another one just on the week to think about. I think it's predominantly for shorts, but it could just go for any given day. Let's take a look at the week as a whole. Monday we had off. It was a bank holiday. Tuesday is when we had the big sell-off of 100 points on ES, and it actually rallied into the afternoon. Not to make it a bullish day, but it retraced that entire New York Open move, right? The New York Open's down here. So it did move lower to continue the trend, but it actually moved back higher. That day I was saying I was looking for longs and it was moving back lower. So we reversed that move in the afternoon. Buyers pop us higher. I had someone on a BSC call with me saying, how do I know when to trade the Asia session? Like if I know what I think it wants to do. And really I don't. It's very tough to know unless there's a strong catalyst. But you look at it as just a general question. If buyers defended this price at like noon and rallied us all the way up, why would I think at the next hours or 6 hours overnight we're just going to be able to fall right back down? Clearly buyers defended it down there and stepped in pretty hard. I'm not going to just assume I wake up and we're just back at new lows, because why wouldn't we have stayed down there initially then, right? So it wasn't a crazy move overnight, but pretty more so bullish than bearish. The open in the New York session was terrible. It popped higher, popped back lower. But trend didn't really shift and just feed shorts all day. Because again, why would we move lower? We reversed it in the afternoon. Buyers stepped in and buyers hadn't really given it up. We're still more so bullish even on this day. And what happened in the last hour? Retraced it again. Popped higher, bulls recovered it. So now we're at another new high. Yeah, sellers aren't really in. Since when? Since Tuesday at 12 p.m. And now it's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Yeah, sellers have been gone this entire time. They gave a little pop there, drag and whatever that is, really nothing. So we come into the desk on Thursday with small higher highs and higher lows, and this is what I was just saying, I took that long. It's the same idea. Why would I just assume we're going to sell off? What would do that? I know it's behind the camera here, but why would we move lower right here when we just recovered from Tuesday's low? Just been nothing but higher highs and higher lows. So you always have to think about, why do you think we're moving lower? The answer can't be because we're looking lower highs and lower lows for an hour. I don't care about an hour. Tell me why we're going to move lower. Are the stocks bearish? Is there a catalyst that we want to go sweep some low or whatever, right? Just looking at it on the week, buyers are trying to move us higher. So until they really tell us that they're failing, aka we get lots of lower highs and lower lows, I have to stay a bull. So that's the same reason why at this open here, if the sellers could have sustained a little bit longer, okay, cool. Maybe they're actually telling me sellers are starting to shift us. But since it's only been an hour or right at a key VWAP, let's see what happens. And lo and behold, buyers step right back in and continue that trend just like they had been doing since Tuesday's low, right? So hopefully that makes sense of just reading it, not too overcomplicating it, of just, yeah, since Tuesday's low, we're still moving higher here. So I'm not actually bearish. I'm not going to just chase an hour of shorts here and think we reverse and tank to new lows. Why? Why would that happen? And if it happens, it happens. But why would I think it has to happen? And you look at that session, after that initial pop lower when we said it was going to look bearish, we long it here. Quite the bullish day, I would say, because trend is more so bullish. We're right near all-time highs. I'm just waiting for buyers to step back in because that's most likely where we want to continue. And buyers have had the ability to step in at any moment and bring us higher. Now, one small lesson on this one is just a handoff VWAP. This is that light blue one, just to make the colors different. I handed it off to the last time buyers touched the New York VWAP, or in this case, the time we sliced through it from underneath it to on top of it. That's just because on these high drifting days, it's not even a lot of volatility, it's just drifting. If I need a pullback off a key level, which I do, and I want this New York VWAP, and that's my only criteria and way I can get in, I'm flat today. You know, there's no way for me to get in or talk myself into a valid setup, but the trend is super clear and I want to get involved in it. So I use this handoff VWAP as a potential level we could want to bounce off of if we're not going to have the strength to fully pull back to New York. So you can see there's long opportunities off of this into the afternoon. And I made another video on handoff VWAPs as well. Try to go find that one. I'll put that one in the description, which really comes down to clearly it's bullish. The 15 minutes been bullish like we went over. We're above the New York, new highs, but I need that pullback. Evan says I need a full pullback to New York, and you do. You want that. But on these drifting days, I just don't know if you'll get it. So if you need a way into the market or want one, a handoff's a good option. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. Make sure you guys don't trade into these VWAPs like I did on this given day, right? When I longed it right at the VWAP, it definitely could have worked because of how bullish this 1 minute is. But you always have to think about the other side of it, right? If it moved higher, we would have said, well, duh, look how bullish that 1 minute is. But since it moved lower, we just say, well, duh, look how bearish that 15 minute is. So it is tricky. You're almost predicting who's going to win the battle here of, I think bulls, other ones think shorts. Well, soon we'll find out. I prefer when the 15 minutes bullish and the 1 minute's bullish. That's why even this one, it's not the best because we wouldn't be too surprised with the bearish sentiment here. If this formed a lower high and just came back down, it would look bearish the whole morning. And I would say, well, duh, it went lower, look at it. But since it did move higher, we look at the 15 minute and say, well, yeah, duh, look at it. It's off the VWAPs. So it's very tricky in that regard, but you can say that about any trade, I suppose. But the key lesson would be, look at this drift. When the 15 minute and the 1 minute are now both shouting longs, that's the easier trade because you're not now questioning the opposite direction. You're trying to predict what we're going to break through, when we're going to break through it. It's telling you to long it, right? Because someone could long it here sometimes and win despite that VWAP, and you could sell it here and win despite it bouncing off a key VWAP. But when they're all in full trend, those are just the easier trades, but we don't always get them. So this is maybe not advanced, but this is a upper step to try to read the trend of not getting induced into shorts, first of all, right? Kind of like how I got induced into the longs on Monday. The first thing to do would be not jump into those losers. The second thing would be try to figure out how to get into the winners, which would be taking them like we did here this week, all right? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys check out the new Top Step, or the Top One account, They just came out with the new Ignite AF. So I have a video on that coming out, but it's a little bit lower of a cost. It's $150 for a 50K, which is absurd because it's a one-time fee. Just $150, you can get funded just flat out funded with a 25K for 90 bucks. That's crazy. But we normally trade the 50K, so still $150. You can copy trade up to 6 of them. If you use my code, they're 50% off right now. I think the copy trade 6 is the biggest appeal. I have a whole video on it. I'm not going to go over all the rules here, but check that out down below and see if they're the accounts for you. I have them. I'll be trading them on stream. So let's see what we got there. But I also have the instant funded. So we'll trade them both. As always, I'll keep you guys in the loop on how I feel about them. And you guys do the same, all right? So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.